Hello and welcome to Merlin's Manor. Today I'm going to go over my top 10 most played games. I didn't start recording plays until January of 2021, so there are some games on this list that would have had more plays. Now I have an H index of 25, which means I have played at least 25 games 25 times, and this would also probably be higher if I had started recording my gameplays sooner. Some of the games on this list cross over with my top 10 list, as one would expect, but some make the list due to how quick they play or how easy to get to the table they are. Of course, in combination with me enjoying the games. The games on today's list all have at least 48 plays. I'll give a quick honorable mention here to Isle of Cats, which has 47 plays, coming in actually at number 12, as there is a three-way tie for number 9 at 48 plays. And so let's jump right on in with two of the games tied for 9th place, and that is My City and My Island, with 48 plays each. These games have both have a 24-game legacy campaign, which means you alter the game as you play, but since they come with 4 boards, if you play at 2 players, you can actually play through the whole campaign twice with these boxes, which is what my wife and I did with the campaigns for these 2 games, and so we have played 48 games by playing through the campaigns twice. The game can be played with the eternal side of the board after completing the campaign, but we have not played either of these games that way as of yet. What makes these games so fun and engaging is the legacy elements, which change the game up as you go, providing new challenges. Both of these games are polyomino placement games where you have a player board on which you are placing your pieces in such a way as to cover up areas and score for various objectives. I do have a full comparison review on the channel if you want to check that out for more information on these games. The main reason these games have gotten so many plays are that they are quick, and the legacy aspect kept us engaged, and the games were so fun we played through the campaign twice. And that's My City and My Island. The other one that has 48 plays, tied for 9th place, is 3 Dragon Ante. This is a game that I was introduced to by my friend who got us into modern board games. It is a fairly quick and light game that makes it a great filler game or a great game to play to finish out a game night. Plus it scales all the way up to 6 players easily. We have also on a few occasions played it multiple times in a night. In this game you are going to be playing dragons and mortals with various powers that will trigger if you play a card with a lower value than the player who just played before you. You are also going to be trying to win the pots by having the highest value of combined cards for the 3 cards played. The value of the pot is going to vary depending on how high the ante is, which is going to be the value of the highest value dragon put into the middle at the beginning of the round, as each player is going to discard 1 card to the middle face down, and whoever had the highest value gets to play first, and that's going to be the amount of money each person is going to have to put into the pot. The value of the pot will also vary based on how much players use abilities to steal from the pot. In addition to trying to activate abilities and win the pot, you can also gain money by getting 3 cards of the same strength or 3 cards of the same color. This game is heavy on hand management as you are trying to keep the right cards to play together in the future while playing cards that will give you the best benefits right now, and sometimes just getting rid of cards that are not going to be as helpful while you bide your time to use cards together, either to win a pot or to get a combination of cards that have the same value or color. The game ends when someone runs out of money at the end of a round, and then the person with the most money wins. I've seen so many swings from last place to first place in this game. It can really be anyone's game, and you can't ever count someone out. It's a lot of fun, which is a big part of why we have played this game almost 50 times. Next one, at number 8, is Cascadia with 55 plays. In Cascadia, you are building an ecosystem. You choose a pairing of a landscape and an animal token to take, and then you place the landscape tile anywhere you want adjacent to an already placed landscape. You have a starter tile of 3 hexes together, and you're going to be placing it down next to that or something else you've placed, and you're trying to match types of land together because you'll be scoring points for your largest group of each type. Then you place the animal token on a tile that has the symbol of that animal. There are various ways the animals score, and so you have to balance focusing on the landscape types and getting them in a way that you can get large groups together, as well as getting the animals you need and in the places you need those animals to score and to maximize your scoring for those animals. It is a great puzzly game that plays in about 45 minutes, so it's very easy to get to the table. This game can be played solo by playing with scenarios with different setups and goals, which I think takes the game to another level. There are also various challenges and achievements that you can shoot for if that kind of thing interests you. So that's Cascadia, which I have played 55 times. Now I want to talk about Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition, which also has 55 plays. Aries Expedition is quicker to set up and play version of Terraforming Mars with a few twists on the gameplay. Just like its big brother, you are playing cards which are going to give you resource production, actions, and events, and increase in TR, that is terraforming rating, which is both victory points and additional money production as you do things. You're going to get this as you do things to help terraform Mars. The game ends when all 9 oceans are put out, the temperature is increased fully, and the oxygen is increased fully. This version adds an action selection system similar to Race for the Galaxy, where everyone chooses an action and all players get to do that action, but the person who chose it gets a bonus action. Play is also done simultaneously during each action, and in order to make this work, once a parameter is maxed out, everyone can keep getting TR for that action by raising it during that action phase, which is definitely a gameable thing that you can really just get a whole bunch in there at once. This game really shines as a solo game because of the streamlining, which leads to less focus on things that are not so important to the solo mode as the original Terraforming Mars. Aries Expedition has become my go-to Terraforming Mars for solo play, while I do still prefer the original Terraforming Mars for multiplayer. The Crisis expansion adds a solo and cooperative mode that changes up the way the game plays that I have enjoyed, as well as a way to change the game up, providing even more replayability, which has helped with getting the game to the table quite a bit as well. So that's Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition. Coming at number 6 is 5 Minute Dungeon with 62 plays. This one plays super quick in about 5 minutes. To be fair, I consider each 5-minute round as a game. You progress from an easier opponent to harder opponents until you lose by running out of time before defeating the boss or running out of cards to play. In this game, each person has a character with their own unique deck of cards and special abilities they can trigger by discarding cards. There is a deck of cards that represent monsters and events that you need to defeat by matching symbols or using special abilities. Because you have a time limit of 5 minutes and everything is done in real time, each person has to quickly look if they have the symbols that are needed and play them. And sometimes 2 players will play the same symbols simultaneously, wasting cards, or there'll be a hesitation to play special cards or cards with multiple symbols, including some that are unnecessary, to see if someone else can play just what is needed. After you get through the deck, you then take on the boss, and some abilities allow you to stop the timer for players to discuss strategy and use special abilities. Other abilities allow players to draw cards, while some abilities defeat certain types of cards. This is one of the few real-time games that I enjoy, and since it plays so quickly and you can play several games back to back, this game has made it to the table for over 60 plays, and it doesn't hurt that my kids have really enjoyed this game as well. So that is 5 Minute Dungeon. The next one on my list is Love Letter, which we have played 64 times, coming in at number 5. Love Letter is a game that I didn't immediately appreciate, but has become one of my favorite simple filler games, and is also one of my daughter's favorite games. The gameplay is super simple. Everyone has a card, and then the active player draws a card and plays one of their 2 cards for its power. You try to eliminate other players to be the last player standing in a round to score a point, or have the highest number card when the deck runs out of all those who are left in the game. There's also a spy, which gives a point if you are the only person who has played or discarded the spy and that's still left in the game. A big catch is that some of the highest value cards have the worst abilities, which can lead to you getting out, while the lower value cards can be especially helpful for getting other players out, with the 1 value guards allowing you to guess a player's number and get them out if you guess right, or were able to deduce what card a player was holding. This game plays quickly and is a lot of fun for a very basic deduction game. The next game on my list is Terraforming Mars, the original Terraforming Mars, coming in with 91 plays. My friend who introduced us to modern board games really loves Terraforming Mars. It's probably his favorite game, and it's one of my favorites as well. So of course I have many plays of this one. The 91 plays does include digital solo plays in the app as well, so there is a bit of a caveat that not all of these plays have been physical plays, but we've also played it many times physically as well, including sometimes that didn't get recorded back in 2020 before I started recording gameplays. Despite this game taking about 3 hours to play, it has gotten quite a few plays because it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of strategy involved as you build an engine to be able to score points both through terraforming Mars and through playing cards that give points. There are interactions between players as players race to achieve milestones and go after awards, and through building things on the shared board in a way that will optimize scoring points. I enjoy this version better than Aries Expedition for multiplayer because of that shared board where you are building cities, adding greeneries and placing oceans, and the tension that is brought in by trying to claim the best spots, as well as the competition brought about with the awards and milestones that lift this game to a little bit higher of a level for multiplayer. Now coming in at number 3 is Wingspan with 114 plays. Wingspan is another great engine building game. I didn't originally think I was going to like this one when it was explained to me, but I quickly decided that I love this game. This game also comes with the caveat that I have played it digital solo against the Automa quite a bit. I don't record plays against the AI bots or other ways that I've played to focus on getting achievements, but I have recorded a lot of my plays against the Automa in the digital version there. This is also one of my earliest bought games, and there were quite a few plays that didn't get recorded back in 2020 before I started recording plays. The gameplay is great with several satisfying strategies based around which combination of cards come up and several different paths to victory to focus on, which keeps the game fresh. I go into more detail in my top 10 games of all time video, and so I don't want to rehash too much for this video. I have all the current expansions and plan to get all future expansions, which mainly add more birds with special powers, but Oceania also adds nectar and a rebalanced board, and Asia adds a special 2-player mode that provides a good alternate way to play head-to-head. If I didn't have so many other games that I love vying for my time, I could see Wingspan being a lifestyle game, especially as they add more expansions. Now, I'm going to talk about Gloom Haven, which is number 2. This moves some stuff out of the way. I have 118 plays of this game. My wife and I really love Gloom Haven and have played it using 2 characters each in order to unlock everything and experience playing as many characters as possible. Each game takes a couple of hours to play, much more actually with the Forgotten Circles expansion, which we haven't enjoyed as much as the base game and has slowed our playing of the game a bit. This is my number 1 game, so you can check out more details about this one in that video as well. The short of why this game gets so many plays from us despite its long playtime is that it has over 100 scenarios with Forgotten Circles and even some solo scenarios for each character, and there's a lot to unlock, and it's just fun to level up your characters and to get those new characters and learn them. Now my final game is Final Girl number 1 with 138 plays. Final Girl is a solo-only game with lots of replayability, not only from the variability within each box, but through the ability to combine boxes. You can mix up killers, locations, Final Girls for countless different game experiences. I really like the hand management involved in the game and the luck mitigation and how things can go off the rails with some bad combos or bad rolls, but at the same time can be so satisfying when things come together. While each feature film, as they are called, utilizes the same basic mechanics, each feature film has its own mechanics that it adds, which makes each game feel fresh and unique. This is especially true of the Series 2 features. Each one just feels so different despite being based on the same system. This game is my number 1 solo game, and it plays in about 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes quite less if things go terribly wrong. And so it has been easy to get to the table 138 times, as I often play multiple games in a single sitting. I also really love the lore and scenario books because they give specific scenarios to face off against, which has you go against each killer at each location for the series. I hope you've enjoyed this video going over games that have been able to get to the table the most for me. These are all games I enjoy very much and can highly recommend. If you have not done so already, you can check out my top 10 board games of all time, my top 10 solo games video, or my review and comparison of My City and My Island video. Have a great week and keep on gaming.